What is cracking with you, YouTube? Welcome back to Cage TV. It's your man King Howie back with another video. I hope you guys are being safe out there with this coronavirus that I guess is supposed to scare everybody. It got everybody scared. Be safe. Now let's get on to this shit. The owners have decided to push the vote back on the new CBA that the NFLPA decided not to vote for. It has now landed in the hands of the players, which is what the NFLPA planned on doing anyway, because they don't want to have any lawsuits come up against them. So by the players voting for the CBA, whether they vote for the CBA or they vote against the CBA, they could wipe their hands clean with it. But with the owners trying to push the vote back, which is supposed to be this Thursday, will be the last day to submit your votes, because we know some players won't vote for it and some players will. Some players won't even look at the CBA agreement. But for the past 2 weeks, we've been seeing high-profile NFL players come out and speak out against the CBA, notably Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers Richard Sherman, and quarterback for the Seattle Shithawks Russell Wilson. And then you have one of the Ponce brothers from the Pittsburgh Steelers voting no against the CBA. And a few others, J.J. Watt included, Stephon Diggs. They're voting no against the CBA. And of course they would. Of course they should. They already have their money. They already have gotten paid. Now, to the third string guy on the roster who's not even getting any play time, who's not making that much money, he might vote yeah. And there's been some notable players that have spoken out about voting yes for the CBA. Ryan Fitzpatrick has said he's voting yes for the CBA. Who else voted yes for the CBA? A few other players voted yes for the CBA. I can't think of any of them right now, but it was quite a few of them that said, yeah, I'm voting for this. But if you look through the 456 pages of the CBA, this is not a good deal. This sucks. This is not a good deal. I mean, they want these players to lock into a 10-year agreement with no option within the first 4 or 5 years of the agreement. I mean, the owners have to understand that things change. Issues will come about. And you lock these guys into a 10-year agreement without trying to change things for the better, that's going to cause a lot of problems. I mean, you're going to take away damn near $200,000 from a former player who has suffered an injury from the NFL. You're going to normally giving them $250,000 a year. That's good money. But now you're trying to lower it down to $48,000 a year from $250K? Yeah, I don't like that. You want to add another game without really, letting teams have more depth to the roster, not letting them have a deeper roster I mean, you're gonna have to at least for another game, at least allow at least 59 guys on the damn roster per team. You also want to raise the fines on players who hold out to get bigger contracts, which is going to force them to not want to hold out and show up to practice. It's a lot of things in writing that I don't agree with. I really don't agree with. Um, Along with coming with the 17th game of the season, you're not really going to up the wages. You not really you're cutting out $500 million from the players' revenue by only allowing them to have 48.5% of the revenue that the league makes a year, which is a total doesn't make any sense, which will cause for the players to want to strike. I completely understand that. But if the players do strike, the ball is definitely in the hands of the owners, because then they can lower the players' revenue shares to 42%. Now, some of the players have stated that the top dogs that make the big money could come to some type of agreement where they could, put some money together for those players that are struggling. Now, I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. I don't see Aaron Rodgers, he might. I'm not saying he won't, but I don't see Aaron Rodgers giving up his money that he's earned in playing football to help out another player because they want to strike and get a better deal in a CBA agreement. But there's more bigger problems than that. Now you have board members on the NFLPA who are filing lawsuits against the NFLPA for not going into those negotiations knowing that they have read over the CBA agreement before the players have. And they know it's a messed up deal. But they sit up there and say, we're going to vote no on it. But we'll see what y'all think about it. It shouldn't even. This is what the players are saying. If you guys seen this contract, this new agreement, and y'all vote no on it, y'all shouldn't even brought it to us to vote for it. Y'all should have stood y'all ground first. Which is true. The NFLPA is strictly supposed to be in favor of the players. But with DeMaurice Smith getting demoted and former Bengals player Eric Winston now being the president of the NFLPA, you got to look at him and you got to understand or try to find out why he's becoming the president now at a time like this during a new agreement. Why did DeMaurice Smith get demoted or step down to a lesser role in his involvement with the NFLPA? Something's fishy here with this deal that they're trying to throw on the players to take place. But it's funny. You don't hear players like Tom Brady speaking out about the CBA agreement. And I know some of you may say, oh, he's got other things to worry about. He doesn't even know where he's going to play. You don't hear Phillip Rivers speaking out about the new agreement. You don't hear Jimmy Garoppolo saying anything about it. You don't hear nothing. You don't hear nothing coming from Kirk Cousins. You don't hear nothing coming from Dak Prescott, and so on and so forth. You don't hear any of the other players saying anything about the CBA agreement. So, with that being said, I think something is fishy with this whole deal. And the closer and closer we get to the last day of voting, which is this Thursday, we might hear something in between now and that, they might want to push it back another week. And that will entail that the owners are going back to the drawing board to see what they could get away with, just pull back a little bit. All right, let's take this out, give them this, give them that, and then let's represent it and see what they say then. That might be one of the cases. I hope that's the case, because some of the things in those 456 pages just didn't. It's just trash, just unfair. I'm gonna just be straight up about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just completely unfair. The players were hoping to have a 50-50 split by now, and the NFL is like, hold on. After seeing how much money they made leading up to now, that this the NFL is raking in damn near close to $20 billion a year. Why not try to get a little bit more? Greed is a motherfucker. It's like, what I'm saying? You give a woman an inch, she'll take a mile. That's basically what the NFL owners are trying to do. They're like, oh, let's see if we could get even more money by adding in another game. And let's add another team to the playoffs. Let's cut out 2 teams having a bye week. Let's just have the top team have a bye week. The more money, the merrier. At the expense of the players' health and safety. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow. But if this thing seems to drag on toward, after the draft and towards the beginning of the season, I believe we might be facing a strike. So if that's the case, then we might as well watch all the XFL football that we can. Shout out to the Houston Roughnecks, 5-0. We might as well just kick back, relax, and try to see how good this XFL football can be for the time being. But I'm hoping they get a deal done ahead of time. It'll just make sense to get the deal done ahead of time, leading to the draft, which is going to be in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I think the NFL is really, really, really trying to put this CBA agreement to bed. So I think they might change some things in the CBA agreement to, make people happy. They might up the revenue. They might do a 49-5. You know what I'm saying? 49-51 type split. Who knows with the revenue? But they need to get this shit done, because we need football. We're going to need football in the fall time. After the summer is gone, football is supposed to be on. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.